Hello, everybody. Today we're talking about skills, our continuing discussion on skills in the workplace, skills that you need. And so what I really wanted to talk about today, a component of skills, is how skills change over time. And especially one major change that we're seeing today. But if you look back in history, you'll see that in the early 1900s, most of the population was working in agriculture. Agriculture dominated our industries, late 1800s and early 1900s, mainly because it took so much work to grow food. And so we had a lot of people in the industries. But then we had the Industrial Revolution somewhere before and a little bit after that, but it changed the way in which we operated in regards to creating and growing food. So we had more people move into the cities to work into industries. We call them factories. So we went from agriculture to factories, and that lasted for quite a while. In the 1910s, 20s, and 30s, even the 40s, 50s, we moved into manufacturing. And the big manufacturing plants were created, starting with Ford and General Motors with automobiles, but just in general. In fact, during World War II, which is in the 1940s, the U.S. produced 2/3 of all Allied equipment, military equipment. That's how big our military complex was. And that lasted, as I mentioned, the 40s, 50s, and in the 60s, we started to move away from manufacturing, mainly because it cost too much for us to build and make things. And so other countries like Japan and West Germany at the time were starting to rebuild their manufacturing base from World War II, and their products were cheaper. So we moved into the third major change, which is technology, and that started really in the late 60s, but really grew into quite a bit of speed in the 80s. So more people moved into technology, building chips, building computers. And that continues to last a bit to today, though most of that, the production of those products is outsourced. We still design most of it in the United States, but we don't build it here. Therein lies the big problem of the day, which is we don't have an industry today that was as dominant as agriculture, industrialization, manufacturing, and technology. That's why it becomes more difficult and challenging to find and keep a job today. That next big industry hasn't occurred yet. But there's two things that I want people to know about the skills of today that I think are important. First and foremost is that to get a job and keep a job today, first, you have to work for a customer. No matter what industry, no matter what the greatest trend is, if you want to be employed today, an important skill is to work for a customer. You have to have a customer. Hopefully a lot of customers, but that's how you're able to keep your job. And the second thing that you have to have is you have to change something. You have to change something. You have to work in a job where it requires you to be employed in order to change something. A salesperson is a good example where they typically work for a customer and they change something, the way they sell a product, and features that they offer. So people in sales are going to keep their job in the future. But keeping your job, I would say from one skill to another, you need these skills today. The ability to work for a customer, have a customer, and the ability to change things. Hopefully that gives you a sense of how skills are changing over the years and that you have to constantly keep updated on the skills that are going to be the most effective for you in the future. Everybody, hope you make today one of the best ever, and I certainly look forward to our next talks. Take care.